Hello and welcome to another edition of The Exchange. I'm your host, Marvin Logan. Tonight we're talking reality TV, friend or foe. What is this thing that started out as a craze and has now become a lasting trend? I mean, it really seems that you can just look up just about any kind of show and you'll find it. Are these good for TV? Are they here to stay? Do they promote positive images such as family or negative things such as violence?
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
Do you know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Could or couldn't be the kind of culture that is promoted by reality TV. We asked our viewers what they thought. Do reality TV shows make good TV or bad TV? With the hashtag realitycheck. Our Twitter Talk segment host is here to share our social media reactions. Kene?
Thanks, Marvin. Students responded to our question on Twitter and asked, are reality TV shows good or bad? We also used the hashtag realitycheck. Our first tweet by Joshua Lewis says, I can never answer this question in 140 characters. Too much to say. Kiera says both, depending on what the show is about. Another tweet by Jordy Hendricks says, people only tend to focus on reality shows being bad. Our man Rivers, she says it sells false dreams to people and everyone can't afford it. Our last tweet by Vani states, some stereotypes have a root in the people and those people exemplify it. I make sure I don't exemplify it. I definitely agree with Vani. And of course, and if you want to share your thoughts with us, you can tweet us at any time at KSUTV_exchange, and your tweets may end up on the show. Marvin?
Thanks, Kene. One celebrity has a definite answer about how they feel about reality TV. Truth and Reality founder Salai Abrams has been on a national campaign to spread information about how reality TV is affecting women of color. Her work is shown in a national campaign here. Take a look.
Of Atlanta is known for the over-the-top lifestyles and personalities of its leading ladies.
Why as a society is that something that we like to watch?
Yo, what's on hip-hop?
I think we're raising a generation where it's all about being famous, but not doing something redeeming.
This is what's redefining their story. This is what's driving their behavior. There is a culture of violence that is being endorsed and supported by the media that we consume, and it has to stop. My name is Salai Abrams, and I'm the founder of Truth and Reality. Our mission is to change the way that women of color, Black women, Latina women, are portrayed on reality television and to reduce our rates of violence in our communities. This is bigger than TV. This is our lives. These are our communities. This is our culture and our society that's being affected by what we're taking in on television. Black women are 6% of the US population, but we represent over 50% of the participants on reality television. Black women have the highest rates of domestic violence. We have the highest rates of teen dating abuse. We are at the greatest risk of being murdered by a spouse or a boyfriend. Our girls are struggling.
We're now joined by Exchange correspondent Justina Parker. Justina, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Justina, I understand you talked to some students about Salah Abrams' campaign and got some of their feedback.
Yep, and here's what some of the students had to say about the event.
The images that are in the media and how it's depicting black women, like the negative stereotypes that we've always dealt with, but more in a modern perspective of everything, like how black women are being dehumanized. So this event was more of an approach on how to deal with everything, how to move past it, and bringing everyone together in unity.
I felt like it had a very important message that needed to be conveyed. Oftentimes, our women of color, their voices are being overshadowed by people speaking on their behalf and saying all the wrong messages.
As a community, we need to talk about these things, and in order to change things, you have to talk about it. You have to be with people who have similar goals as you and who can talk on a common ground, and I think this is very important to spread awareness. Like, it starts one place, but it spreads. Like she said, it's only been 2 years, but it has gotten so far already, and it's just going so far, and I think that's amazing. I just think it's very necessary, like conversations and just discussions like this, and I think it's like amazing to see people who are doing something with their lives and who are willing to, you know, put a little bit of change in the world and help our community, because we need a lot of help right now.
Justina, tell me what you thought about the event.
You know, I thought the event, it was a great event. You know, I think it's good that she brought light to a situation that I don't think a lot of people think about, because I know personally myself, it's something that I have never thought about until just recently. So I think she did an amazing job. A lot of people, it brought a lot of awareness to the issue, so definitely a great job.
Well, thank you, Justina. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to sit down with Salah Abrams and to have a conversation about her movement and her thoughts on reality TV shows. Here's what she had to say. So I'm here with the founder of Truth and Reality, Miss
Salah Abrams, yes.
So Salah, we just got done finishing up an awesome event. And why don't you tell us why you started Truth and Reality and why you thought it was important?
I started Truth and Reality because I saw that there was clearly a change happening in our communities. I was really concerned about the way in which domestic violence was being normalized in the media, how so many people were victim blaming. And when I was writing for Ebony.com and The Grio, whenever I would post an article about a high-profile domestic violence incident, by and large, 85% of the commenters were supporting the batterer. And that really, for me as a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault, was extremely problematic. And I said to myself, something has to be done. It's very clear to me that the media is influencing our behavior, and it's not just me making a connection. It's based upon 40 years of research that has been done. And so I'm not a fan of armchair quarterbacks. We got a lot of philosophers. What we need are people who are actually going to create change, and that's why I created Truth and Reality.
So with this, this thing with reality TV, I think it's here to stay. How can people become more engaged so that it isn't something that, just stereotypical, playing off of things that really speak to the fringes of society and cultural groups?
Well, in terms of it being here to stay, I think that remains to be seen, because soap operas, for example, is a genre that has died out. And it's not reality television that's a problem. It's a specific type of reality television programming that is problematic. And those are shows that feature predominantly women of color as cast members who are involved in an unhealthy relationship. They're comprised of women of color who don't have any real discernible job skills outside of what one would expect on the shows at being the former partner of someone, or a baby's mama, or opening up another shoe line or a fashion line, or becoming a singer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but these are very narrow confines which really aren't reflective of how we as people can really achieve success. And also, the shows are ones in which violence is one of the primary primary components of the storyline. And so when you look at that, the fact that the women on the shows are economically tied or dependent to a former or current partner who in a dysfunctional relationship, that's one. Not having a really clear job skill, that's two. And 3, promoting relational aggression as the norm would be the other component. So I think that with enough awareness, that change can happen. And that's where we are with the Redefining Her Story movement. We're at the very beginning stages of waking people up so that they can understand that the media they're consuming actually is having an impact on their behavior, on the way that they think about themselves, on the way they think about relationships, what's normal, what's not normal. All of this is the work that we're doing at this time. And I do believe with enough of a consensus, once we achieve what I was stating earlier in the presentation, a unity consciousness, stop othering each other, stop saying, well, this respectable part of Black society is not appropriate to exploit on reality television, but this part is. When we can come together as people, that's when the change will occur.
Well, I think that we certainly are on the start of something wonderful, and I think that we're really going to, continue to help increase people's media literacy. So I thank you for joining us today. I wish you the best of luck with Truth and Reality, and we're going to be right back here on The Exchange. We'll have an interesting perspective from a Kent State University administrator. Stick around. Here's some more sounds from Shadow Tech.
I'm Heather Wells, Miss Ohio 2013. What I love about Portage County, and specifically this area with the university, is that it really is just this college town, this small town feel. And when you come on campus, everything just turns to life, and the people in the area are excited about it. That's one of the biggest things I think that I miss.
And now we're back, and I am joined by a staff member in Kent State's Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Director of Special Projects and Initiatives, Ms. Shauna Lee. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Lee.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So we just finished up talking with Ms. Salai Abrams and shared some footage of the other night's event. And what I want to know from you is, why do you think it's important for Kent State to be involved with something like Truth and Reality that brings light to the things that we see on television?
Well, simply just because of what you said. I think that Salai has a unique way of bringing to the forefront the issues that are plaguing our African American women as they are portrayed on TV. And she, in a good way, I think, opened up a platform for the students to come and talk about issues that I don't think they really necessarily saw as issues, and in a safe way and an informative way, so they can then, talk intelligently about it as they're trying to spread the word and inform people as to why this is not something they should be doing.
What are some kinds of ways that you think something like TIR or anything else that's like that, some kind of digital advocacy can work in the future for Kent State?
That's a good question. I have to think about that. I think that if we spread the word better and inform our students that this is a way that they can use it as a platform to create a message, to get word out, to start a campaign. I love the way that she did her working, because she worked with our student coordinators on Sundays, and then she did the Twitter accounts and speakers with the students on Mondays. So I thought that was really unique, and it also was able to expose to students the people that they wouldn't necessarily know anything about in a really unique way, and then they were able to talk about what they learned in a really unique way. So
Now, you know Professor Tracy Williams.
Yes.
In her Black Images class.
Yes.
And also Professor Jean Shelton in African American Media. I've
Yes.
had the opportunity to have take both courses. Does a program like this make it possible to get some of that kind of information that teaches people about media literacy and make it possible for us to not only get it out to all of our students, but to get it out to people all over the world?
Yes, because we also partnered with Professor Williams last semester and this semester, so she made it a product of her class, and so I think it's a very unique way. And I also think that's one of the reasons why Salai chose our campus, because of the relationship that she had with Tracy, and I think she saw it as a new way, something different to help get the message out to our students.
For students who haven't really, learned to become abreast to media literacy or understanding how, whether it be TV or movies or music, can promote a culture of violence or sexual abuse, what would you be able to say to them that would help them get involved with a cause like this in the future? I would suggest that they go to her website, truthandreality.org, to learn about it. She has information about statistics, why she decided to take on this movement and create her organization, and then to talk with other students on campus who were a part of the movement, to ask them why they wanted to do it. And lastly, what was your experience, your personal experience and your personal impact being involved with something like this? I thought it was wonderful. One, it was nice to meet Salai. I think she has a powerful story, given the fact that she just went up to 9th grade and that was it. She hasn't gone to college or anything like that. And so how she was able to take the experiences of her past life and create that and to do something meaningful and powerful with it, and to transform the lives of young women and men all across the country, I think that's phenomenal. Well, I would agree. So next up, we're going to have a great group of students who have some interesting perspectives of their own on everything reality TV. We'll be right back on The Exchange. Welcome back. We are now joined by a group of students for our roundtable. First with us is radio personality Kayla Hodge, avid fashion lover of all things fashion and TV and slayage, fashion consultant Ashley Coker, and Truth and Reality campus coordinator Kent State Tulane Keith. So thank you for joining us. Why don't we get right into it? So we've heard from Twitter, we've heard from Salai Abrams, we've even heard from some of our staff here at the university, and now I really want to hear what you guys think about reality TV. So which one of you, or just why don't you just tell me what some of your favorite shows are?
I don't have one. My roommates are into the whole Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives thing, and I can't get into that whole thing with the whole reality TV, because I feel like a lot of the times the reality TV, while, they're only portraying themselves as far as representing themselves, I think sometimes we forget that when we are doing these things, we're one of the only races that we do something, we're doing it, and they put it for our whole race. You know what I mean? So what a lot of these shows, people are watching them, and a lot of these reactions and stuff like that, they're saying, well, that's how all of them act, all those women or black women or whatever type of woman, and I feel like that's detrimental. I mean, don't we have different kinds of examples for shows, though? I mean, you have something like Nellyville, Rev Run had a show for a while, and I mean, I guess that's not as far on the spectrum. I think there's even one called like Preacher's Daughters or something. It is. Yeah. Now, have you actually seen Preacher's Daughters? I have not. Okay, so that show has nothing to do with God or anything like that. That show is about little girls who have lived under too much restriction, and now they're out buck wild, getting drunk, going to parties, doing that. That it's not really, the name does not suit the show.
That's unfortunate. But I mean, isn't that like a typical PK though? Like as soon as you get out from under the house, you know, I mean, my father's a minister and I've had my share of fun in college, you know.
Yeah, but I think they made this show intentionally to show preachers' daughters in a bad way, which is why I don't watch the show because I already knew from the previews that they were going to show preachers' daughters in a very bad light.
Now, back when I actually used to watch reality TV, I guess I'm a little older, I used to watch like Real World and College Hill. And I always found it like interesting that you put these people in such a tight situation, you know, no internet, no cell phone, no contact with the outside world. And, you know, you stuff them in the house with people that they don't know. But I feel like we focus so much time when we talk about reality television on negative things, but there has to be some positives, right?
There are positive shows, but I think the problem with those shows is people don't watch it enough. So unfortunately, they get canceled.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the show. Like some shows, it's about changing the person's personality or helping them raise their self-esteem maybe, but a lot of those shows are more directed towards the mid 30s range, you know, The Housewife. But what young people are watching, we're watching The Real World, The Bad Girls Club, Love and Hip Hop. We're watching that because it's interesting. I mean, it's nice to hear a good, positive story.
Why is it interesting?
I mean, everyone likes juice. Everyone likes a good conflict, and the entire show is based on conflict.
So is it in fact real? Is it actually a reality, or is it something created?
Well, that is up to the opinion because I'm in my Pan-African Studies minor, and I took Black Images, and we broke that down. And you know, Tracy Williams, she calls it fakeality, and she breaks it down and calls it fakeality because while you're watching real people doing real life things and real life situations, they're pre-scripted. Right. That's stuff that they did 6 months in advance that we're just now seeing. So when you see all these issues and these conflicts that are going on Instagram and all these beefs, and it's for the people who actually are involved in this, that's about 8, 9, 10 months old for them. Whereas now we're just now seeing it, and then we're all in raw and under Instagram putting things under their pictures and adding fuel to the fire. And for them, it was either A, scripted, they were told to do it, or it's 9, 10 months old now. And so I feel like a lot of that and the interaction with social media when it comes to reality TV affects the way that the turns and twists that it takes throughout the seasons.
But it makes money though, so it's all right, right?
All money ain't good money.
Exactly.
Touche. Wow, I really don't know what to say to that one, but
Marvin lost for words.
It happens. So, is it something that you think is here to stay? Are we just gonna keep seeing reality TV?
Definitely. We always want to peek into somebody else's life. We always want to know how the other half is living, whether it be another woman, another family, another girl, another college girl, and especially for things like The Real World and College Hill, those were shows geared towards people in the stages of life that we are in right now. So we want to see how other people are living, how they are reacting, how they are dealing with certain situations that maybe somebody else is dealing with. And I feel like it's unfortunate that even though some of these things are put out to be kind of positive or to put out information about college students that people don't usually know about things that college students go through, it just sometimes takes a negative twist or an effect, and it ends up doing more harm than good.
You see, I agree, but I also disagree because I think reality TV was phased in around 2006 when they had the big writer's strike in Hollywood. So you didn't have as many scripted TV shows like drama, stuff like that. And now you see Shonda Rhimes basically ruling ABC at this point with 3 shows on television at one time. And it's bringing back the scripted drama. So it could change. People are kind of drifting away from that. I know I don't personally watch a lot of reality TV. And when I do, it's usually because it's on. It's not because I'm planning on watching it that week. But it's interesting to a point, but I think that scripted drama, that actor, is a little bit more appealing.
Yeah, definitely.
So is there a way to, I guess, then produce better reality TV? I mean, you mentioned the writer's strike. This is cheap TV. Really, all you need is a place to put them up in. You know, you don't have to pay them a whole lot of money. You got plenty of money coming in for advertisers. You don't have to do a lot of writing. You just be like, you know what, why don't we just put them in this situation and see what happens?
What happens, yeah. I think that piggybacking off of what she said, that you're right. There wasn't a lot of writers, and they had to do what they had to do. The show must go on. But with that being said, I'm a fan of scripted television. I love dramas, Empire, all that.
Right,
Huge
exactly.
fan. That is TV to me. When it comes to when you think of watching something or having a show, it's about the imagination of
and what's going to be remembered.
Exactly.
Well, I guess that sums up our roundtable. I think we have plenty of options for TV. We've seen a lot of reality TV. I'm sure we're going to see more in the future. But coming up, we'll have a performance for you, so make sure you stay tuned. The Exchange will be right back.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Tonight we learned that all reality TV isn't bad, but there are certainly some things that aren't good. Remember, media literacy is everything. Here on The Exchange, always come with what you have and leave with more. Good night, everybody.
Streetlights are the chaperones to what I was there. Reap back from guardian folks out there, yeah. With the dead of a love brother snaggled in her hair. I see a little bit in the dark. 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 Why don't you step into the shadows? They go on. The sun on the night. I'm in the night, nocturnal creatures. Silhouettes light up your features bright, brighter than the sun ever could.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be, with the high purpose to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all. We approach this problem of reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.